TV23 KDGL. Covering the High Plains with news, weather, and information. From TV23 Studios in Sublette, this is High Plains Today.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to High Plains Today on TV23. Hey, it's Thursday, August 20th, 2015. On today's show, I have a fill-in for Larry Phillips. We have Earl Watt. He is the publisher of the Leader in Times, and he'll be joining me on set here in a little bit. So let's take a look at some news. AAA of Kansas reports the Kansas average for regular unleaded stands at almost $2.58 per gallon. Now that's up almost 13 cents from a week ago, but still 2 cents below where prices were a month ago. And even with the spike in the Kansas average, almost 73 cents lower. Now, if there's any good news in this speed bump towards lower gas prices, it's that the Kansas average is over 9 cents lower than the national average. The Dodge City Commission on Monday approved 5-0 the 2016 proposed budget with no mill levy increase. The proposed mill levy is $50.883 with budget net expenditures just over $44 million. Now that's an increase of nearly $4 million from last year. The budget reflects a 2.5% salary increase for city employees. Now, according to commission documents, the proposed budget was developed with the objectives to continue commitment to maintaining service delivery, continue efforts to fund a capital improvement program, and commit resources to provide essential services for a growing community. Almost 35 years ago, the single screen at the Doric Theater in Elkhart went dark. In 2016, the Doric Theater will come alive again with the magic of Hollywood and live theater performances by the Morton County Community Theater Group. Built in 1918, the Doric Theater provided a venue for live vaudeville performances and silent movies. Mitchell Theaters purchased the property from the theater group last Friday. Although showing movies will be the primary goal, Mitchell Theaters and the Morton County Theater Group will work together to make the venue a nice place to view live theater as well. And the Garden City Commission on Tuesday approved an agreement with Wilson and Company of Salina to perform a traffic impact study and survey along U.S. Highway 83 as part of preparations for construction of a $235 million milk processing plant anticipated for completion by June of 2017. A development agreement was approved earlier this month with Meadowlark Dairy Nutrition, LLC. Now, that's a subsidiary of Dairy Farmers of America. Meadowlark plans to build a USDA dairy dryer milk processing plant, that's a mouthful, and related facilities on 156 acres on the south side of Garden City. The Garden City Police Department is looking into a number of $100 counterfeit bills that have been used at numerous businesses. Now, from Friday through Monday, there were 10 instances of a $100 bill being used to make a purchase. 6 were at fast food restaurants and another was at Walmart. Captain Randy Ralston said police are following up on a few leads and have identified a person of interest. And also yesterday at approximately 9:28 a.m., officers of the Garden City Police Department were dispatched to 505 East Kansas Avenue to check into cash for a reported robbery. When officers arrived on scene, the initial investigation revealed that an armed suspect entered the business and stole an undisclosed amount of money and fled the area. The suspect is reported as a Hispanic male, approximately 6 feet 3 inches tall, wearing all dark clothing. And sunflowers are blooming in Kansas, so too are fields of soybeans that have also begun setting pods. Most of the sorghum crop is now headed and some of it's beginning to turn color. The National Agricultural Statistics Service reported Monday that 58% of the Kansas corn crop is in good to excellent condition, with another 32% rated as fair. About 10% is in poor or very poor shape. The agency's weekly update also shows the state's soybean, sorghum, and sunflower crops are also pretty much faring well. And finally, longtime Subway pitchman Jared Fogle agreed Wednesday to plead guilty to allegations that he paid for sex acts with minors and received child pornography in a case that destroyed his career at the sandwich shop chain and could send him to prison for more than a decade. Prosecutors alleged that Fogle knew the pornography had been secretly produced by the former director of his charitable foundation, which sought to raise awareness about childhood obesity and arranged for Fogle to visit schools and urge children to adopt healthy eating and exercise habits. And that's just a look at some of the things that are happening in the news. Stick around. I'll be back with a look at weather after this.
You want to feel connected, informed, included, inspired. So when important things happen, we're here. Your local TV and radio broadcasters. America's #1 source for news, weather, and information. On every screen in your life. We are broadcasters. Always here for you. Wherever here may be. Text TV to 52886. Tell Washington local stations matter.
It's not his new group of friends. It's not the video games. It's not the neighborhood.
Mom, do I have to go to school today?
The biggest threat to your child's future could be you. Every day they miss, even in middle school, puts their graduation at risk.
Something I feel when I'm right here. Something that tells me that I'm This is the place. Everybody here knows it. This is the place. Oh, it's home to me and you. Yeah, this is the place.
You realize that 49 million Americans struggle with hunger? That's 1 out of every 6 Americans. These people are around us every day. They're our friends, they're our coworkers, their kids go to school with our kids. Sometimes we're not even aware that they're struggling. This problem is closer than you think. So is the solution.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
Now, the local weather forecast for the High Plains.
And welcome back to TV 23 as we look off to the northeast in a very sunshiny day on the TV 23 tower cam. There's not many clouds out there. Let's take a look at the current readings here at the station. As you can see, 73 degrees, relative humidity for once, 61%. Winds are out of the south-southwest at 10. They're starting to pick up. As you can see the camera moving on the tower. Barometric pressure is falling. As we take a look at the current temps around the region, everybody pretty much in the lower to mid 70s, although Hayes is the hot spot at 79. Looking at our current dew points, now this is one reason that the humidities are all falling. Everything is back into the 50s, which is nice. It makes it way less sticky out there. Looking at the winds, we've got a lot of winds, mainly out of the south and southwest. 22 in Garden City seems to be the highest of them all. 8 over as you get over to Medicine Lodge, everybody else in the teens. Yesterday, the readings at the Garden City Municipal Airport, the high was 74. It felt pretty nice out there. Record high 103 back in 2011. The low was 55 last night. 49 was the low back in 2012. Taking a look at our forecast coming up, we're calling for 82 degrees today. Winds are going to be out of the south at about 18, going to be gusting to 28 miles an hour. Winds are going to pick up. Yes, we are in southwest Kansas. Tonight it's going to be mostly clear. Low is going to be 63. Winds are still going to be out of the south at about 15 miles an hour. And then tomorrow we're calling for mostly sunny, 87 degrees. The winds are still going to be a little breezy, not quite as bad as today, increasing up to 25 miles an hour. And then tomorrow night, partly cloudy, 67 degrees. Winds are still going to be up there at about 20 miles an hour tomorrow night. Looking at our 7-day, we do have 20% chance of rain coming in on Friday. That's going to happen about after 8 o'clock on Friday evening. And then on Saturday, there's a 60% chance of rain, and we're looking for that anywhere between 6 and 11 p.m. on Saturday afternoon and evening. Highs are going to start climbing back up into the 90s on Saturday. Cools off again on Sunday because there is a front that's coming down through Kansas. It's going to move through pretty quick as we back up into the 80s and 90s on Tuesday and Wednesday. Lows are going to be pretty much in the 60s. That's a look at the weather. We'll be back with the markets after this.
Something I
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him going on to fascinate millions with his talent? 1 in 260,000. The odds of this born racer having 157 career top 10 finishes in NASCAR? 1 in 125 billion. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year? 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 88. I'm NASCAR driver Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
Know what?
What?
Since I got adopted, I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. I mean, check out these two. It's Flirt City over here.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're going to be hanging out a little bit more.
And welcome back. I'm now joined on set by Earl Watt. He is the publisher of the Leader in Times in Liberal. He's here subbing for Larry Phillips. I guess you let him go on vacation today. Is that it?
Well, you guys have seen he's been wearing his Hawaiian shirts anyway, so he's kind of was on vacation long before he finally left. But I don't have a Hawaiian shirt, so.
No, he's wearing a Weird Al Yankovic shirt. He's the only guy I know that Earl is a giant Weird Al fan.
Hey, when you grow up in Southwest Kansas, you get to listen to some the music that's available. Weird Al was big when I was a kid. He's big again. I mean, this guy is timeless. He's back on the scene, and went to Wichita a couple of times. Saw him at the Cotillion, and you can't pass up good family entertainment like that.
No, that's true. He is entertaining. I will give you that. So, what are you going to talk to us about today?
Well, it sounds like you've already talked with some folks about some citizenship and things like that, and you know, Donald Trump's been in the news with some questions about citizenship and immigration and all of that. And he brought up an interesting point. He was talking yesterday about anchor babies and illegal immigrants who come over, have a baby. Is that baby a citizen of the United States? That's a question. We've always assumed the answer is yes. I mean, if you're born in the United States, you're a citizen of the United States. And that's been a long-standing, since the Civil War, that's been a long-standing position. But if you read the 14th Amendment, which says, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. So the question then is, and this is what Trump is talking about, is if you're born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. So your question is, if you came to the country illegally, are you subject to the jurisdiction thereof? That's where he's asking the question. And I think it's a fair question to ask. It's going to take courts to decide.
I was going to say, so is that's going to be something that's going to have to go before the court system to decide what under the jurisdiction of means?
I think so. I mean, if someone cuts in line, or someone were to go into the Weird Al concert and didn't pay at the gate or wasn't allowed in at the gate, do they have access to the protections and enjoy the concert? They don't. They can be kicked out of the concert because they don't have a ticket. They didn't come in the right way. So they don't get to experience the protection and the benefits of being there. The same thing is if someone didn't come in the country the proper way, do they get the benefits of being here? Do their children that are born here get the protection of being here? There's questions, and I think that Donald Trump is bringing those questions up, and it's going to be interesting.
I was going to say, because nobody has really brought that question up. I mean, I'm like you. You just kind of take it for granted that, oh, born here, citizen. Doesn't matter if your parents were here legally or illegally, you know. So, and you and I were talking earlier, if somebody comes in, say they're visiting from a foreign country, they come in, they have their passport with them, they enter the country legally, and say they have a child while they're here on vacation or whatever, now they would be here under the jurisdiction of the United States, correct?
That's right. They came through the gate. They were given permission to be in. They got their concert ticket. They can enjoy the benefits of being here. But if they didn't, if you came in and you didn't pass through the gate, you didn't get permission to be here, do you get protection for being here when you didn't have permission to be here? That's the question. It's a good question. You know, no one was talking about these things before Donald Trump came onto the scene.
That's true. He has brought a lot of this to the forefront. He has kind of been, you know, like I was telling you earlier, you know, it's early in this whole deal yet, but he has kind of brought everybody to the forefront of he doesn't care what he says. I mean, he's not playing politics as the Washington politicians would want him to.
Yeah, and that's frustrating to both parties.
Yeah.
I mean, they want to play by certain rules, that what some of us may call it the ruling class, the people who set the rules for us all. And they also have control, you probably are familiar with this, of what happens within the party, who the next appointee might be, and these kind of things. There's a power structure in the parties. And when a Trump comes along and he's not beholden to any of those power structures and can create his own power structure, it's shaken up the whole thing. And I think that's what the appeal is right now, is he's not beholden to anyone. He can say what he wants to say without repercussion. You know, we've had people who've been elected office, and I think you're familiar with this, that if you don't play the game, you end up sitting in the back seat, or you get taken off a committee, or things like that happen to you. And in the House or the Senate, those kind of things can happen. But if you can win the presidency that Trump is trying to do, you don't have, there's one seat. It's the White House. It's the seat behind the Resolute desk in the Oval Office, and you get that seat, and then you can set the rules there after that. So Trump is really throwing a wild card into the whole political system.
Well, the other thing is he doesn't care about supporters contributions, because he's got enough money that he doesn't have to go out and raise campaign funds. And that's got to be upsetting everybody else who thinks that they have to play politics the Washington way.
But you know how that goes well. You've been a candidate in the past. What candidates are trying to do to get those dollars is, I'll adopt your platform. It doesn't matter what, you can pick the organization, whether it's, let's say, the teachers union or NRA, or both sides of the equation have these organizations, and they're going to make a donation to a candidate if that candidate adopts their position on the issues. Trump doesn't have to adopt anybody's position on the issues. He doesn't have to gather that kind of support and then have to provide back services for the funds. He doesn't have to do that. And that, again, is something that's outside the Beltway, doing something different than the way it's always been done before.
He's not beholden to anybody. I mean, he's got his own checkbook. And so he's kind of setting the pace. And everybody else, I think, the other front runners the other 16 are all trying to catch up.
What's interesting about his position is he's been the guy on the other side writing the checks. He's been the one buying influence. And some people say, and that's what I don't like about him, and they might be right about that. But if you look at it from his perspective, and any business person who's going to say, whoever the senator is from New York, if you're as big a businessman as Trump is in New York, whether it's a Democrat or Republican, you want to contribute to make sure that they'll answer your phone call whenever you call Washington, D.C., or the mayor's office, or the governor. So business isn't about picking parties. They'll contribute to anybody and hedge their bet on whoever wins, that they can make that phone call. Trump knows that better than anybody. He knows how that side of it works, and he knows what's going on in Congress is exactly that. So a guy like that, a president, can short-circuit that entire system.
That's true. And so this whole thing is going to get more and more interesting as it goes, isn't it?
Well, and he's going to say something stupid along the way. I mean, there's no question about it, and is it going to stick is the question. And see, a lot of times, if you are beholden to those monies coming in, and you say something and the money dries up, you're out. Right. Trump can go to the convention. Trump will not be out of this race, no matter what primaries are won or lost.
That's true.
He will be in this all the way until the convention next year. So that's got to frustrate all of those other guys thinking, when's he going to drop? When's he going to drop? I'm telling you right now,
he's got enough of a bankroll. He doesn't have to drop, does he?
He is not dropping. He will be in this thing until the Republican convention next year.
All right. Earl, thanks for coming in today. You and I have talked politics a lot of times. You're going to have to come back, and we're going to have to keep an eye on this Donald Trump stuff and the presidential stuff as we get closer and we start getting some of these people whittled out.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right. We'll have you back. Don't worry. And stick around. I'll be back right after this.
You want to feel connected, informed, included, inspired. So when important things happen, we're here. Your local TV and radio broadcasters. America's #1 source for news, weather, and information. On every screen in your life. We are broadcasters. Always here for you, wherever here may be. Text TV to 52886. Tell Washington local stations matter.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Something I feel when I'm right here. Something that tells me that I'm home.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
And welcome back. Hey, the big thing in sports today, a federal judge made clear yesterday that the NFL's 4-game suspension of Tom Brady over Deflategate is in jeopardy as the star New England quarterback returned to practice. U.S. District Judge Richard M. Berman, who's been asked by the NFL Players Association to void the suspension, warned a league lawyer during oral arguments in the scandal over underinflated footballs that there was precedent for judges to toss out penalties issued by arbitrators. Now, Berman continued to push for a settlement in the dispute, a potential result he called rational and logical, makes sense to me, but throughout the hearing he has also cited several weaknesses in the way the NFL handled the controversy that could become the basis for handing a victory to Brady and his union. And Lorenzo Cain had a tie-breaking RBI single in the second inning as the Royals completed a sweep of the 4-game season series. They beat the Reds last night 4-3 in Cincinnati. Now the Royals have won 5 straight. The Reds, have lost 5 straight. Next up for the Royals, they travel to Boston for a 4-game series starting tonight. And let's take a look at our weather. Right now, it is 74 degrees outside. Relative humidity is 58%. Winds are out of the south at 17. They're kind of starting to pick up. The barometric pressure is falling. Looking at the 7-day, you can see we do have a chance of rain tomorrow and into Saturday, but those are going to be evening storms if they do come out with anything. Other than that, we're going to make it a good Thursday. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
With the latest information from TV23 on our Facebook page, KDGL TV.
Something I feel when I'm right here, something that tells me that I'm people around here. That's how it is, it's so clear. Letting it show. I've been around the world, only to find what I already know. This is the place. Everybody here knows it. This is the place. Oh, it's home to me and you. Yeah. This is the place.
Hi, I'm Chris Jewell, host of High Plains Today, a 30-minute news and information program that airs at noon weekdays right here on TV23. Hey, do you think you have an idea for something that would make a great segment? Somebody that would make a great interview? What about a community event that needs highlighting? Let us know here at the station. Email us news@kdgltv.com.
This is the place.
For those dealing with the daily struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community with experts and other caregivers to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love.